Greek police are investigating a fire at a refugee camp on the island of Lesbos. They say thousands of refugees had to flee the fire, which may have been started deliberately. There are reports of fighting between groups of refugees at the time of the blaze. Now, no casualties have been reported. There are around 60,000 refugees currently in Greece, many of whom want to travel on to other countries but can't because of tight border controls in Eastern Europe. Well, for more on this, let's speak to Nathalie Savaricas, who's joining us from Athens. Nathalie, good to speak to you this morning. So, do we have any official detail yet on exactly what caused this fire at the refugee camp?
No, nothing confirmed at the moment, but what we do know is that this fire comes after days of protests that were taking place in Lesbos, on the island of Lesbos, after, many of the migrants and refugees were just demonstrating against their living conditions there, and of course against this overall regime of being sent back. Now, the police are saying whether it's the frustration of living in these overcrowded facilities. Let's not forget that the Moria camp has a facility to accommodate around 3,500 people. At the moment, they're nearly double the number. Whether it's the rivalries between the various nationalities that are kept all together, ranging from different continents as well, the Africans or even from the Middle East. So a big question mark. The police still very much ongoing all this investigation, but what we were seeing yesterday was images of black plumes of smoke, in the air, families trying to flee from the fire, and scenes of devastation as many of the containers, actually some even where all the processing was taking place of the migrants and refugees arriving on the island, are completely destroyed. So there's a lot of difficult work ahead, not only for the authorities, but of course the question mark of what to do with all these migrants now.
And is there any plan in place yet, Nathalie, for where these migrants may well go next?
Well, we're hearing that around 60% of the facilities, have been destroyed. So the immediate move that is being considered is to deploy two or one ferry at least to kind of accommodate the more vulnerable groups, that is the unaccompanied minors, which was safely evacuated yesterday, but also the families and all the other migrants and refugees. That as a first place, but also what they're thinking is boosting the police presence on the island. They're sending more forces there to kind of try and ensure stability and peace after all these protests that could have, as we mentioned earlier, trigger all this unrest and the ensuing fire. Now, what we do also know is that in Greece overall, beyond the island of Lesbos, which is overcrowded, there are around 60,395 migrants and refugees. So beyond Lesbos, looking at the wider picture, the minister responsible of immigration in this refugee crisis has said he wants to sit down and discuss with mayors, starting with the mayor of Mytilene, on ways to kind of resolve this big refugee crisis which Greece is faced with as well.
Okay, Nathalie, for now from Athens, thank you.